Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, it's Friday the 13th. Whoa! But it's also Friday as in it's a Freedom Friday. So, if you've got something like this, raise it now. Cheers to all of us escapees. Freedom Friday, here we go. Now, I've been discussing a lot of sequels and a few prequels lately of the action genre and the famous iconic characters from the 80s. Arnie's coming back for King Conan, apparently, but also for Commando 2, not very likely, and bringing Dutch back for a new Predator installment, which I think will happen, but in animated form with an Arnie voiceover. And then Stallone got in on the act by saying, I'm now exec producing John Rambo, the prequel to First Blood. So, after those two videos, people began to ask me, as they often do anyway, what do you think about a third Snake Plissken movie? Do you think they'll ever do one? And, my God, for many years they've been trying to do a third Escape movie. Escape from New York, of course. No introduction necessary. Escape from LA. No introduction wanted at all. And escape. Oh, he sends the world back to the Stone Age by using the sort of Damocles EMP, 22 satellites positioned around the air, and he sets them off and turns the entire world back to pre-industrial standards. And then, breaks the metaphysical wall, lights a ciggy, and looks us in the eye, right down the camera. He's only got one eye, remember, don't forget that. And says welcome to the human race. And it's a great little moment. In fact, it's the best moment in a film, which I so look forward to and then so didn't enjoy. It's a camp pantomime remake of Escape from New York. Nowhere near as good at all. I want to like it. I try to watch it, folks. You've got to believe me. I try to watch it fairly often-ish, and I just struggle with it so much. I can't watch the whole film. The intro's fine, and that finale's fine. The bit where he's chasing Cuervo Jones and he runs up and he's dragging people off bikes and making the bike leap across vehicles. Yeah, naff CG. The shark, the wave down Wiltshire Boulevard, surfing. Oh my God, it's piss poor. But it's Snake again, and King Curtis Snake, my favourite character of all time. Yeah, I try to like it, but I just... Anyway, it was obvious that people wanted a third Escape from New York movie, Escape Plissken movie. And Carpenter himself didn't want to do a sequel to Escape from New York. It was a beginning, middle and an end, and another fabulous conclusion to a Carpenter movie. And but the fans wanted it. Now, I know that John Carpenter, Big John, is fond of saying these days that it's actually the better movie. Everything I wanted to do the first time round, I could do second time round, and it's the better film. I enjoy it more. That's the one I really wanted to make. Bullshit, John. Bullshit. You didn't want to make that film. You were pressured into it. And then you got King Kurt on board, and Kurt famously said, if I can fit into the pants, there they are, then I'll do it. And he could fit into them. A fucking tight squeeze in there. They have an unfortunate shot of him getting, he gets changed again, doesn't he? He gets a different costume for this movie. And there's a bit of a paunch there, but hey, it's allowed at a certain age. And this is the point, folks, because King Kurt can still play Snake Plissken. Over the years on this channel, I've banged on about the potential for a third Plissken movie. Many times. And what I'd like to see from that movie. And today, let's outline what Kilt-Man would like to see from a third Plissken movie. And I can tell you now, it's not Escape from anything. We don't need Escape from Earth. I know that the titles would be lovely. Escape from New York, Escape from LA, Escape from Earth. Everyone thinks that Ghost of Mars was Carpenter's. Well, I can't do Escape from Earth for Plissken, so I'll rework some of the plot with Desolation Jones and all that, into what's that his name? I think it was Ice Cube. I think that was his name anyway. And I'll rework it into this movie. And well, it's not entirely true. I think some of the ideas were leaked in there, but that wasn't a Plissken movie. That. So I don't think we need an escape from anything, really. And no life clocks. By the way, let's see how long I've got left. Oh, quite some time. I've got ages yet. And these videos can run on, you know that. But don't use, a time clock, a life clock. I've got another president. Well, you won't be able to, because at the end of Escape from LA, he's busted the world back. Now, I know for a fact, as you guys do, that an EMP strike on the air will destroy everything. The economy, finances, corporate structure, health, safety, law and order will collapse. Isn't it weird? You go back 100 years and we didn't have any of that technology and we got by quite happily. But nowadays, without it, it'll be bedlam and chaos. It'll be mass murder on the streets. It'll be riots. It would happen. And most cultures and countries would collapse literally overnight. But that said, you've got these things called Faraday's cage, and you've got these bunkers which are designed to, be impregnable to an EMP pulse. So you'd have bastions of the hoi polloi, of the rich and the famous and the celebrities, and the political elite would all be safe and secure in these little bunkers. But the rest of us fend for ourselves in a barbaric wasteland. And there is your hook for the third Plissken movie. For me, personally, Escape from New York, Escape from LA are both westerns. You've got Kurt doing a fabulous Clint impersonation, done deliberately. And we know that Carpenter longs to make a western. He always says his favourite genre is sci-fi, but right alongside that is westerns. He loves westerns, and a lot of his films have been westerns in disguise. Assault and Precinct 13, of course, is a remake of Rio Bravo. Obviously Escape from New York and Escape from LA. Big Trouble in Little China, it's not quite a western, it's an eastern, but it's very similar. And you've got Kurt Russell as Jack Burton is doing a John Wayne impersonation throughout that movie. The western influence is huge. They Live, the soundtrack, is purely a western, laconic, harmonica driven, lazy, drawling, Texan style soundtrack. Roddy Piper looks like a modern day cowboy and all that. So, but even though it's a sci-fi movie, Ghost of Mars is very definitely a western, just set on Mars. So the theme runs through a lot of Carpenter stuff. Now, whether Carpenter would come back for a third movie, we all as big fans think it's only right that King Kurt and Big John, reunite for the third Plissken movie. But let's face it, Big John, apart from those Masters of Cinema episodes that he did, he's not the filmmaker he once was. He had that meteoric climb and then the stratospheric, plummet. Village of the Damned, anyone? Ghosts of Mars, The Ward. Yeah, he peaked and then that was it. And I don't think he's got it in him to do it. And he's my favourite director to this day because he's created so many indelible, classic, iconic movies which I love and adore and watch so often and will forevermore. He's done enough. He's cemented the deal. He's fine. Big John, you are the demigod of Hollywood. You are the cult maverick auteur of my dreams come true. So you're always going to be my favourite director. But I don't want you doing a third Plissken movie. I don't want you doing it. That sounds awful, doesn't it? I want King Kurt back. And Kurt, as rugged, as haggard, as rip-roaring, craggly faced. I'm looking at myself and I'm thinking, shit, I'm not that far off it myself. He can still do it. He's been on a press junket the last week or so, promoting the TV show The Madison. And he's been there with his son Wyatt on certain other shows, and that infectious laugh, that big cheesy shit-eating grin of his is still there in full force. He could do anything. Now I know, what age is he now? I've forgotten his age, 76? Is it something like that? Got to be something approaching there. And as we know, that's the danger zone for celebrities. How many celebs have I done obituaries and tributes towards who've died at the age of 75, 76, 77, 78, 79? That late 70s period is a deadly zone for like celebs, I think. So Snake, better watch out. But he could definitely do it. You know, don the eye patch and don some buckskins, because I think, after I said about the whole Western influence upon a lot of Carpenter stuff and upon the Snake Plissken character himself, yes, he's the Third World War war hero and turned outlaw, but there's your thing, he's a war hero turned outlaw. American Civil War, Indian Wars, these guys came back, you know, after doing their campaigning and found the government neglected them, so they, with their skills, they turned to, you know, a life of crime, basically. And you saw that with John Rambo, yeah, a hero, decorated hero like Snake Plissken. Society then turns its back on him, so he turns to a life, well, a life on the fringe, but inevitably that encounters trouble with the law. The law. And you know, so many of our favourite characters are like this, the anti-heroes. So, and the Western was built upon this. So you've got Plissken. He's busted the well back to the Stone Age. A lot of years have gone by. You're not going to de-age Kurt Russell. You're not going to do that. You want him looking craggy. Put the eye patch on him. Maybe you let us see what's underneath the eye patch. He's kind of like, there was an eye there all along. Hey, fooled you all. That'd be great, wouldn't it? But it's Western. He's in buckskins. He's got a ranch somewhere. The name above the ranch says "Done Escaping," you know, and he's living a pastoral life, you know. But he's got his wits about him. He's got his guile. And a lot of people say like, "Oh, pass the baton on to Wyatt Russell, Kurt's real life son." Who people keep saying, "Look, he looks just like him. He's a dead ringer." He isn't. He isn't. His chin comes out fucking, you know, out there somewhere. He's not. There's a look. You can tell it's Kurt Russell's son, but he does not look the spitting image. He does not, and he's receding pretty badly for someone quite so young. So, Kurt's still got a full fucking head of hair, like. So no passing the baton on to Snake, a Snake Junior, a Snakelet. Don't be doing that. I can't see Snake Plissken as a guy that's ever going to settle down with a wife and a family. That is not in his DNA. It's not in his makeup at all. So, but he's got his ranch and he's living away from the dregs of society, which has rebuilt itself up again. Because even in the wake of like an EMP strike, you've got gazillions of people around the planet who aren't going to just disappear. They're going to reforge lives. They're going to form communities and societies, but it will be barbaric. It will be like the wasteland in Mad Max. And I'm afraid it does run very similar, you know, to that sort of, you know, aesthetic and mentality. But the Wild West was that. Ruthless. People were breaking the law all the time. Like, you know, it was a struggle to survive in that kind of environment. In Escape from New York, you have Indians. They're goddamn Redskins, says Brain. They're savages, Mr. President. And in the full uncut version of Escape from New York, with the extra scenes, which are not there now. Yeah, we've all seen the bank robbery sequence. That's the deleted scene, which we get on all the home video presentations of it now. Not reinstated in the film. And I understand why, and I'll explain why it won't go in there. I would like it to be there sometimes, but sometimes in that it's best not to, because it's bright and it shows, because the rest of the film is very dark, obviously, but it shows Snake's got some humanity. But alongside that, the film does, despite what Kurt Russell says, the guy's got no humanity at all. He just lives for himself, doesn't care about anyone else whatsoever, and Carpenter backs that up. But throughout the film, he meets other people who help him. Brain, Maggie, Cabby, and he has remorse about them. That's the very thing he asked the president at the end. You know, we did get you out. A lot of people died in the process. I just wondered how you felt about that. You know, well, I want to thank them too. You know, this nation appreciates their sacrifice. It's not the answer. It's the cut, glib, sort of bullshit rhetoric and very forced and unmeant sentimentality, which a war hero has come back to, and that's why he's turned his back on society. So he knows, which is why I'm going to rip this fucking tape that's going to save the world from World War III. So don't forget, he's already consigned the world to a lot of grief, which kind of gets glossed over a little bit. Obviously playing the bandstand boogie and all that for China and the Soviet Union probably brought a smile to their faces. Okay, let's call off the war. Let's get into big band jazz. Come on, boogaloo style. And so obviously nothing really came of that. But busting the well back, with the EMP, yeah, there's no getting away from that one. As I said before, you'd have pockets of society which would be impregnable. But these, they're not going to come up and suddenly take over the world again. It would take decades to rebuild. Oh, shut up, Hulk. God.
He has a briefcase.
I want to hear about the briefcase. The bloody briefcase. So, Western wilderness environment, he's got his ranch. Somehow or other, he's probably served time as a bounty hunter, as a mercenary, which we know he's already done. We get told about his escape from LA. He's been to Bangkok and Thailand and all that, and he's been a gunfighter for hire. So he's done all this sort of checkered past, but now he's older, grizzled, eye patch, his eye still probably hurts him. Don't forget he's been beaten up and fucking shot and blown up and fallen off walls and things, like been baseball battered. He's got a few aches and pains, but King Kurt can do that and still look like a fucking hero. A long haired, a big grey haired, grey bearded. But think Logan. Think Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, the aged Wolverine in Logan. That sort of thing, that sort of appeal, that sort of gruff yet still charismatic guy who's knackered and all those stories he told about me aren't quite true. I heard you were dead. Plissken's gone for the same thing. I thought you were taller. No, fuck off, That is a really dumbass one. I thought you'd be tall. Shut up. But the point is, he's got a legendary status. He has got that built in. And even if the years all go by after the events of Escape from LA and everyone's trying to rebuild, you've got Bartertown and all, you've got people cruising around in V8 Interceptors, gasoline is the new fucking, nothing's going to work though, don't forget, nothing's going to work. So it'll be horse driven, everything's going to be horses, wagons, carts. You might have a yellow cab being pulled by sled dogs or, a team of horses. You can have all these little callbacks and that, like, of course you could, but you'd have some societies have built up. They've got, they've got weapons. They can make ballistics again. They've got, they've got vehicles. There's a guy in a gyrocopter flying around as well. See how the Plissken and Mad Max could dovetail together. I'm not suggesting that. We're not going to do a fucking, bring them together in an expanded post-apocalyptic dystopian future world mashup expanded universe. We ain't doing that shit. Oh, cheers, y'all. But a Western environment, neo-futuristic Western. Snake actually encounters a real-life snake. There you go. Because you've got snakes in the desert there, snakes in the wilderness. He actually encounters one. Does he have an affinity with snakes? Don't make up your own jokes there. An affinity with them? Can he just go like, Crocodile Dundee style, just go, and the snake just goes, oh, okay, slither, slither, slither. I won't bite you today. But you're going to have antagonists, roving bands of marauders, you're going to have all that crap. He can deal with that. What would be the crux of the story though? Well, not an escape. No one's going to hire him, to go and rescue the president or the president's daughter or the president's fucking puppy dog. No one's going to do that because there won't be a president. But Escape from New York, you had the Duke of New York, Isaac Hayes, of course. But he's the bad guy. Well, the presidents and the leaders are always bad guys. Whether they're overtly bad or they're just bad because of, they've got their finger on the button and they control everybody. But you're going to have a Western frontier environment. You're going to have townships run by, maybe bad sheriffs. And for whatever reason, someone, maybe Magnificent Seven style, some peasants are gonna call upon the legendary Snake Plissken. You know, if you can find him, he's up in the mountains, but you know, be careful. He's deadlier than a rattlesnake. And they go and find him and recruit him to go and do a job. Not an Arnie Schwarzenegger, Ken or John Matrix job. They kidnapped my daughter. They forced me to do a job. I'm sorry, a what? A job. God, don't get me started on that again. And he comes, you know, well, maybe reluctantly, but also one last adventure. Why me? Why not you? You're Snake Plissken. You won't have a fucking time clock on him. You could make a joke out of that, you know, like, how long have I got to do this? You know, oh, take as long as you like. There's no rush. that would be great though, wouldn't it? But you'd still have action set pieces. You still have him battling other people. You know, you could even have a callback to, oh God, when he fights Slag in the arena with the baseball bats, which is brilliant. You just wish that sequence ran a bit longer. If they filmed it now, you know damn well that would be a good 10-minute action sequence of real, you know, ferocious choreography, rather than the 2 brief snippets that we actually do get in Escape from New York. But yeah, it is what it is. Which was massively, horribly. They tried to repeat it in Escape from LA with the basketball arena. Oh dear God, make that shot. That was, come on. I know people are into basketball are like, wow, Snake can fucking shoot some hoops and all that. Oh my God, it's amazing. Oh God, there was the jeopardy in that, you know. And Cuervo Jones, what the biggest wet fucking, you know, blanket of a bad guy. At the worst, the pure Che Guevara lookalike, and terrible. Oh, I hated him, useless. But you could have, like, as a piss take, maybe he's going to ride a rodeo, a bucking bronco. That's probably what they do. But you want him fighting someone and you're proper slugging it out. And as I keep on saying, Kurt Russell can still do that. Unlike the likes of Arnie and Stallone. Stallone can still do some stuff. Arnie will train like mad to be King Conan. But he'll have not much action to do in that movie, which he'll genuinely do. There won't be much at all, I guarantee that. But he'll learn how to heft the Atlantean sword again and, you know, take a few people out. But Kurt can still do this. Kurt is still fit and agile enough and gruff enough to roll around in the dirt, take a fist to the face, and still, you know, slugging out with bad guys and make it look genuine. And he does westerns. Bone Tomahawk, Hateful Eight. And what's Hateful Eight? It's a western remake of The Thing. Yeah. The Thing? Oh my God, it's a western as well. Well, not quite. But Hateful Eight certainly is a western, and it is a remake of The Thing. But also Tombstone, absolute classic westerns. Kurt can do westerns. And Plissken, as I keep on saying, is a western style character. Without a doubt. He's the one man, he's like Shane, but albeit a more reluctant Shane. He comes into it, an environment, and he will reshape that environment because of his deeds. Albeit in his case, he's massively reluctant to do anything, but he'll do it because he's got to survive. And then in so doing, a bit like, oh God, Clint Eastwood, oh, The Outlaw Josie Wales. See, another western. He wants revenge, but he also drags in a whole community of people that look up to him like some kind of saviour. He doesn't want that, but he becomes a leader of people and a saviour. Plissken becomes a leader of a ragtag group of individuals and a saviour for them. Well, okay, he doesn't save many of them, let's be honest. I think the president's daughter survives. That's about it, really. Everyone else he knows gets fucking killed in both movies. But he does become it. No, we're not having it. Everyone's coming to New York. That was about to happen. I'm not having it. Here's Cabby. Oh, shut up, Cabby. But so Plissken brings people together, but they will all get died. They'll all get dyed. What colour are they going to dye them, Kilt-Man? I don't know. Maybe commie red. Cheers, you all. Aye. Yeah, I've got the shirt on. The kecks are there, the boots are over there, the jacket's down there, the eye patch is over there. I'm not wearing the eye patch because I fucking hate it. I've spent days, not just at Comic-Con dressed as Snake Plissken, but days when I've gone out to town and I've gone to work and I've worked all day in the full Plissken regalia, in the boots, the kecks, the whole thing, the belt, this, that, all sorts of kit and caboodle, and the eye patch on, stayed in character. And then I've gone out all night long to pubs and clubs till the next day. Gone out all Friday, it's always a Friday, and then come back home, dinner time, lunchtime, the next day on a Saturday, still wearing the eye patch. And oh my God, it's horrendous. It really is. Because you still got one eye to see with, but you've lost all depth perception. So you walk into doors, you trip over your own feet, steps and stairs and things. Just walking down the street, it's bloody hard to do. Now you imagine how Kurt Russell had to deal with that in both movies. Predominantly at night, chaotic scenes, lots of people, lots of debris, having to climb and fight and run and jump and all this sort of stuff. Of course, you know how they did it. There's a couple of eye patches. One's got holes in it, it's perfect so you can see through it. But it's still difficult. And so I can sympathise with that. But that's why I'm not wearing it, because I can't stand this sort of thing. Eye patches are great if you're going to do Captain Jack Sparrow, who doesn't actually wear an eye patch, does he? No, he doesn't. But you got Long John Silver and all that, and you go to fancy dress parties. It's alright to wear it, for an evening at a party, and you can just go like that and lift it up and all that, and get your drink and all that, and still party on. The effect is still there, but to wear it in character all day long, no, it's not an easy thing.
Yeah, I know who you are.
Adrienne Barbeau.
Yeah, but I heard you were dead.
Alive, getting on a bit. You could bring her. Well, not as Maggie. Maggie got squished, didn't she? What would you call the movie? What would you call the film? Well, what's the trend? You've got Jack Reacher, you've got Jason Bourne, so they get films titled just that. You get John Rambo, the prequel is just called John Rambo. So you could just call it Snake Plissken. But I had a few other little ideas, which I wrote in the pub yesterday. Snake, just call it Snake, Snake Plissken. Call him Snake. The name's Plissken. Or my absolute favourite, and I'd love this to be true. Richard Harris made a great couple of westerns about a man called Horse, a man called Snake, a man called Snake. Little tagline: no escape necessary. No escape in here. Obviously, in the course of the events of the movie story, you have to go in and do something and get away. But, so there'll be an escape. But you find me an action film where the hero doesn't have to get away from somewhere at some point. But the film isn't called Escape from, that cell block, Escape from that fortress. They're not called that, but they're little scenes within the movie. This video is just to address the fact that I've been asked a lot about this in the last few days. So, so I'm just spitballing really. We know that certain studios have been trying to get a third Plissken movie off the ground for many, many years. Blumhouse are still really uber determined to get The Thing, their version of The Thing, off the ground. God, that's the hope and pray. So whatever gods of Hollywood are still left, still on the audience's side, that these things never come to fruition. They're doing Big Trouble in Little China, the sequel. I don't know where we're at with that. Some of you guys might know a bit more information. I didn't check before doing this video. I could have checked on it, but I haven't. And it was meant to be, oh God, wasn't Dwayne Johnson going to be in it at one stage? Maybe he still is. And there was talk that Kurt Russell would be in it, but it's not his film. And it is a sequel, but set in modern times after the 80s set Escape from Little China, Big Trouble in Little China. So that is in development and has been for quite some time. But Escape from New York, a Plissken movie comes up all the time. But you know they're gonna, you know, if it happens, it's gonna be Escape from Earth, and it will be that he has to get into some kind of. There's radiation now on Earth. There's people turning into mutants. Hang on, this version sounds better already than what I'd come up with. There's mutants. There's all sorts going on, and someone enlists him. Look, you've got to. Can you get us to safety? Because we know in this bunker there's an experimental rocket to take us to Mars. And it leads into Ghosts of Mars, like for the ultimate insult. If you get us in there, then there's a place on that rocket for you as well, Snake. You know, it's an intergalactic hang glider. You know, God Almighty, or a jet glider from the first movie. You know, you threw the Gulf fire over Leningrad. You know, they're getting quiet. You're all I've got. I love that. Hauk really hasn't got much of a choice, you know. Unless you go in and take the island by force, we've only got Snake Plissken's arrived here. Well, I know you've heard of me. Both special forces from Leningrad and Moscow and Siberia. So, you know, you've got the job. You get full pardon. I wonder where he got permission for that. Like, you know, you get full pardon. The president's only just crashed there, literally just crashed, and suddenly he's got a full presidential pardon. Where'd he get that from? Did the Secretary of State sign that? You know, or does Bob Hauk just have a draw for them, just in the off chance you get full pardon if you go in and do this for us? So yeah, it could be genuinely Escape from Earth. So we've got to get to a bunker, take someone there, and then of course, in the time-honoured fashion, they'll turn around and betray Snake at the very end. Or there's you know, you're not getting on board this. There's no ride for you. So as they blast off, Snake's got some kind of detonator. He's done a Texas switch all over again, like he does with the cassettes, like he does with the EMP fucking controlling device thing in Escape from LA. He has now swapped something and put a bomb on board. I've just created Escape from Earth. I've given the plot to it. Oh, it's better. It's more workable than the one I was thinking of. And then as they blast off, we've beaten Snake again. Oh dear. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen, folks. It will be as simple and as stupid as that. It will be 3 escape movies. Escape from New York, Escape from LA, Escape from Air. And I can see, you know, how that connective thread would be what the studio execs would want and what the big suits would want. No. Oh, but Kilt-Man's had this idea about being like a Mad Max style wasteland and an entirely different story. An older Snake along the lines of Logan, and it'd be gritty, be violent, and like it'll have all the Snakeisms there, but no, Escape from Earth. Kilt-Man, shut up. Well, if you watch this video, actually, Snake Kilt-Man, Snake Plissken, fucking hell, Kilt-Man's already given you the plot for Escape from Earth as well, free of charge. Bring him on board. We'll have his name in the credits, but we won't pay him at all, and then we'll set him up, and we'll jettison him as well. God. Folks, look, as I say, this video is just basically spitballing because we're all in the dark about this. I genuinely think there could be a third Plissken movie. That means nothing, doesn't it? But we know they are actively working towards doing it. Facts are, Kurt could do it, and I think Kurt would do it. It wouldn't happen without him. It wouldn't happen without him. And as I said before, please do not pass the baton on to a younger version, a Snakelet. Don't do that. That is not in keeping at all. That would not work. That'd just be shit. These interruptions.
Snake Plissken, Duke. The man sent him in here. Something's going down. We need him.
I love the way Harry Dean Stanton says that. Something's going down. We need him. It's an extra hum. We need him. So no son. Old Plissken.
Heard of you?
Where was I going with this? Call it A Man Called Snake. Yeah. I think it could work. You can just tell I've lost the point there. They interrupted me, and I was on a little thread, wasn't I? And that's completely gone. That's fucking slithered off somewhere under the rocks over there. So I'll show you the jacket again. Remember, I actually approached Western Leather. Can you make a Snake Plissken leather jacket? And then years went by, and then they did. They did. They made this. Now mine is in pre-distressed cowhide, and I wear this. This is the jacket I wear most of all, and it is absolutely fucking amazing. It's actually quite big, quite heavy, but it is, you know, a spot-on replica of the design of the jacket which Kurt Russell wears in Escape from New York at the beginning, and you see in Escape from LA as well. But of course, it is the jacket he bought of a hobo living in, you know, St. Louis, just around the corner from where they were filming Escape from New York, and he encountered this hobo, and he thought that jacket is what Snake Plissken would wear, and it was battered and probably stunk of piss and all sorts of stuff. Bought it off him, and like he said to Big John, "I'm gonna wear this jacket." And John was like, "Oh, what? No, it doesn't." Oh, go on then. And the jacket became iconic. Now, you know me in leather jackets. I have hundreds of the bastards, mostly movie related, and I love them to look knackered. If they're meant to look knackered in a movie, I will wear them knackered. And all my Mad Max jackets are, apart from the ones from the first Mad Max movie, where it's nice and pristine, but Mad Max 2 onwards, they are wrecked to hell. And I've cut the arm, you know, one sleeve's come off. It's that one, isn't it? That one. And I've ripped them and ragged them and done all sorts to them, and they look amazing. Mr. Kilt-Man couldn't stand the fact I was buying brand new leather jackets and then really waging World War III upon them. But that's the point. That's how they're going to look, you know. Now, this jacket, okay, it's pre-distressed, that's how it looks, but it's so gorgeous. I couldn't bring myself to do any kind of damage to it. So because I wear it so often, and I do roll around in it, I do stupid bits and bobs and mess around, it is getting, you know, some age wear and tear. But the one he has, it's ragged on the back. It's down to threads. It's really, you know, threadbare. And if you look in some shots, well, not in the movie, but certainly in stills from the film, his arrest sequence, the lining is come loose and it's hanging free on the inside when he's putting his arms up like that. You know, he's being arrested. It just goes like that. It's a weird way of putting your hands in the air, like, but he sort of goes out like that. And you can see the linings coming out of the jacket. Well, I'm not going to do it to this. So let it age naturally. So it means I've got a lot of fighting and rolling around to do before it's anywhere near as authentic as the one in the movie. But that's my favourite jacket. I love it. It's so comfortable. It's warm as well. Like, it's a bulkier jacket than you think, because it's got a lining in it, unlike the one he wears, which it's coming out. Cheers, y'all. I did buy a jacket before that one. A brown leather, battered vintage biker jacket, which was very similar to Plissken's one. The pocket system was the same. It just had a bit more detailing going on with it on the shoulders, so it didn't look quite the part. But you know, people who didn't really know would have gone, "Oh, you made a Plissken jacket." No one ever did that, actually, by the way. No one's ever said that to me. But I wrecked that one. I pulled the lining out and all this, and I really distressed the hell out of it. Looked amazing, and then Western came up with this. I went, "Fucking, I asked you years ago to do this, and now you do it? I've just spent fucking 80 quid on this battered old fucking vintage piece of shit." But yeah, couldn't wait. So day one, that went on sale, I got that jacket, and yeah, never regretted it. There's the kecks. Again, these are the famous ones from Tom McLeod, a Scotsman in Tokyo, don't you know, who made those, and they are brilliant. I'm not sure if I can get into them now. Shades of Escape from LA. Kurt Russell saying, you know, I'll do it if I can get into the kecks. It's a legendary phrase, but he knew he was going to get into them regardless. And if he couldn't, he'd just make him a fucking new pet. You know that! He was basically saying that, yeah, if I can get into the keks, but we're going to do it, aren't we, Big John? Yes, we are. Well, I might struggle to get into those right now because they're not like spandexy material, which is the keks he wears in the original movie. There's a lot of give and take, a lot of stretchability in that. They're very tight, but the things he's doing, clambering up and down drain pipes and fire escapes and like rolling around and leaping over things, climbing up walls and all that kind of stuff, they're they're spandexy material. These are not. So around the crotch and all the magical areas, yeah, there's not much room. And the boots, of course, the Alpine Stars high points, modified, customized, golf cleats on the toes, so you can kick people in the face and rip them with just by a kick to the groin, would sever someone's doings. You can't run around in those boots. They're motocross boots. Again, I've said before, I've spent the entire days going around Comic-Con and film fair conventions and stuff, and I'm going out clubbing it, and drinking and dancing and partying in those boots. It's agony. You're not meant to. You're meant to put them on and then get on a motorbike and roll around the track. You don't fucking walk anywhere in them, you know. But I did, and so clearly, and I know this for a fact, those boots he wears are modified. They've got really soft soles on them. There's loads of give and take around the ankle, so he can do stuff. He can run and jump and climb, which you can't do in the real ones. I can tell you that for a fact. Cheers, Sean. So what else did I write? A pure apocalyptic western, well busted back to Stone Age, but wagons, weapons, ranches, communities, all sorts of crazy warped characters. Westerns are like that anyway, and deadly barbaric situations. Indians are back! They were in New York, and now they've risen again. There's a point I was going to make, he says, pointing. That you could have, Native Americans being a prevalent part of this story. Maybe, you've got the whole thing about the whites, the palefaces, and the redskins again at war, and Snake is caught in the middle of this, and Snake, you know how it would be, and I prefer this, Snake helps Native Americans. They've kidnapped, see, I'm rehashing the same old fucking stories. They've kidnapped the chief's daughter. Oh, you can't help yourself, can you? And he's got to go into the white settlements, the white township. Here's the third story for you, a third way of doing it. He's got to go in and rescue Hare and bring Hare back because his affiliation will be with them. Because we know in the full uncut version of Escape from New York, there was extra scenes of the Native Americans fighting Snake Plissken as he gets in the World Trade Center, and then later on as well, there was more elements of that which got cut out. So, right. As always, Snake is resourceful and wants to be left alone, but will be forced into conflict. Snake in buckskin, that'd be pretty cool. He's not going to be wearing these, is he? His Siberian camouflage keks again. Would you have him hanging in his ranch somewhere, hanging up some? I don't know. Would he? At the end of Escape from LA, he hasn't even got those keks. He's got the really horrible, the stealth leather jacket, the stealth leather trench coat. Oh, fuck off! A load of crap that. I'll take the coat, they'll take it all. And he gets the horrible leather biker keks as well. Oh no, they look really shit. His look in Escape from LA is naff. I can't stand it, I hate it. But he's not going to have any of that shit, is he? Several decades later, he's not going to have all that hanging there. He might have a battered leather jacket. And there might be some wild apothecary, these travelling doctors in the frontier peddling their fake, charlatan, medicines and stuff howdy partner, I see you got some trouble with your eye. Maybe I can help you with that. Got some fire water here. That'll put some life back into that, into your eyeball. Who knows? Play around with all that though, couldn't you? Folks, look, I'm just going all over the show with this. I love Snake Plissken, he's my favourite character. It's not. Carpenter made a better film with The Thing, without a doubt. It's a much better film, better constructed, better scripted. But Escape from New York is fucking right up there. My favourite movies, you guys know. You can name them for me. The Thing, Escape from New York, Jaws. They're all that top slot. Predator, Lethal Weapon. They all crop in there, you know. American Werewolf, Mad Max 2. You see, oh God, don't get me down this track. But those two, The Thing, Escape from New York, Kurt's two big hitters really. You've got Big Trouble in China as well, of course. And he's lampooning all heroes. Us as fans know what Kurt's doing. He's doing John Wayne, but he's not the hero. He's the idiot there. He's the tag-along character. We all think he's the guy, but it's Dennis Dunn, you know, who's the real hero. It's not Kurt Russell. But he's the idiot that gets by just because sheer fucking luck and other people can pull his ass out of the fire. But he thinks he's the best, and that's brilliant. Of course, they marketed it so badly. Who is Jack Burton? Well, I knew he was because it was in Fangoria and Starburst, Starlog magazines months before the film came out in the UK. But no one else did. The advertising campaign, who is Jack Burton? Well, no one knew and no one fucking cared. It just didn't work. So the film flopped. Of course, now we know it's the absolute bona fide classic. A big genre mashup. Kung fu, crime, supernatural, mystique, magical stuff. It's got everything thrown into the mix. It's a bizarre movie, but it's fucking wonderful. Yeah, you can't beat the ending of Escape from New York. It is just it's so. Don't forget, I saw this the week of its premiere in London. My dad took me to London Leicester Square, and we saw it twice in one night. I'm too tired. Maybe later. And both me and my dad, Big Kilt-Man, fell in love with the entire thing, Plissken. And then we spent the rest of our trip to London. Well, my dad was using this to go and buy fucking military antiques and military historian items up and down Portobello Road and all the army surplus places and all the people that he knew, his contacts down there. But he said, "Oh, we'll try and find those Siberian camouflage pants for you." Of course, they didn't. They were made for the movie. They didn't exist. And we showed pictures in the Starburst poster magazine. I was going, "Have you got those pants?" And they're going like, they look like vertical tiger stripes. We've got these, which are big baggy Vietnam-era tiger stripes. And I'm going, well, they don't look anything like these. And my little 12-year-old was like, sitting on my fat lip. Done that a lot. That's why it's so fat. Anyway, folks, do comment below. Let me know what you think about a third Plissken movie. I keep wanting to say escape movie because you know that's how they're going to go with it. You know that's what they're going to do. It's inevitable. If this does actually happen, and I think unlike the likes of Schwarzenegger and King Conan, they've got to get a shift on to get him in that and make it work because he's not getting any younger and his health could really just drop any day. It really could. He's had heart problems, hasn't he, in the past? You know, the steroids and all that kind of the juice wrought havoc on his body. But Kurt Russell is younger and he's a lot fitter. He's got a few years left of still being able to do stuff like this. But the whole point of these movies is that the characters themselves are so much older. But you play to that, you don't de-age them. Let them be the age the actors are. And Kurt could definitely do it. So there you go. There's probably a lot more to say, and I'm bound to come to say, if the news comes out after me doing this video that now Escape from Earth is actually happening, I checked just before doing this if there was any news, and there wasn't. Nothing relevant. So I'm going with Western. It's Western style. The cities are just crumbled and all. Everyone's they're danger zones. You've got cannibals, you've got mutants, you've got all sorts of shit taking place. But you've got communities where they've got stability. They can sustain a food source. They've got stuff happening. They've got industry of their own. They've got crops and what have you. They employ people, but it's all corrupt and all that. But you've got the rise of the Native American, the First Nationers. You've got the rise of them, and they're in conflict yet again. And then right in the middle of this, you've got Plissken, who will have to come out on one side or the other. And I'm going. He's going Native American, and he'll go and do a job for them, rescue someone or whatever. But a lot more can be thrown into it, of course. Or, and this is the one they'll do if they do it, it's get someone safely to a bunker, get them on board a flight to Mars, because the air's going to go busto, but they're going to set Plissken up at the very end, and he's not going with them. So he does the Texas switch and blows the fucking thing up. You know which one they're going to do, don't you? You know already which one it's going to be. And that is how it's going to end. Or the engines just stall. He's took a vital capacitator out of the engine system, you know, and it won't work. And he's like, welcome home. Cheers, y'all. Cheers, Snake. We'll just hear the main theme again. Carpenter can score it. Don't forget, Escape from LA. You've got Carpenter's main theme reworked, but you've got Shelley Walker, the late great Shelley Walker, superb composer, who came in and she created a wonderful score. That's, again, like a couple of moments in the film, the score is dynamite. I do love the score to Escape from LA. But you can't beat the iconic original score. Oh, well, I think I brought this down as well. The original vinyl release. This is the one that came out in the UK. The original vinyl release for Escape from New York. Right back in the day. Got that straight away. And you notice something? It's got one of the iconic posters. There were several. Of course, you wouldn't have the Statue of Liberty's head crashed in the middle of New York City. It isn't there. It's on its own island, remember. But it's an iconic image. But what's missing? Can anyone tell? Somewhere down here there should be Snake Plissken with Maggie and the President legging it for their lives from all the hordes of crazies and other hoodlums and bastards and inmates of New York City Maximum Security Penitentiary. But they're hidden behind this stupid big flash. When I bought this, I thought, oh, it's a sticker. But it's not. They've actually, what idiot in marketing chose to put that flash which says music composed and performed by John Carpenter in association with Alan Howarth, which could have gone anywhere. Could have put that anywhere. What idiot chose to put that over the stars of the movie and the main characters? What a fucking champion bozo. There's the back. Black and white photos on the back. But God, I played this to death. To death. And anyway, it's a wonderful piece of nostalgia now. And having got, the vinyl deck, a turntable, I do spin it occasionally now. Anyway, folks, I have been, and always shall be, Kilt-Man, and the biggest fan of Snake Plissken you're ever going to meet. So, in the meantime, in this ever done escaping, rootin' tootin', in between time, please keep it Celtic, and I'm going to see you all when the time finally ticks down. It's such a cumbersome thing as well. Again, wearing this, you're very conscious of walking through doorways. You swing your arms, you Kilt-Man swagger. Well, you could smash that into a door frame. You catch it in a taxi door. You could do it just because it's big and it's cumbersome, and it's chunky. It's gonna get hit against things, and I have knocked it a few times. So it's testament for the amount of years I've had this, and I got sent this free of charge by the company that made them. Anyway, but it's amazing it's still working because it's had a few knocks in its time. But you imagine the one that Plissken's wearing, running about and fighting and rolling around in dirt. You know, and what if the battery wore out? You know, Ramiro. No, it's not Ramiro. Ramiro's the one with the jaggedy teeth. Frank Doubleday. It's Cronenberg, aptly named Ramiro and Cronenberg, who puts the the bombs in his neck. I don't like needles. You know, let's go, Plissken. You know, that's it. You know, tell him. Tell me what? What did you do to me, asshole? Hey, that's a terrible line. What did you do to me, asshole? I didn't touch your asshole. I just put bombs in your neck, mate. What if he hadn't charged the bloody thing up? You know, you've got to charge this watch up. You know, and he put the countdown on it and all this kind of crap. What if it gave out on him? He'd be like, oh, fucking, it's not where. I don't know how long I've got. And his radio's been shattered and all like, ah. God almighty. It's such a really finite mission that he's on. And I like as well, like, there was a video I was going to do on this, incidentally. Wasn't I about to sign off before? Well, I'm still here. There was a video about, like, Plissken's time wasting throughout the movie, of which there is some. Let's face it, if you've been given, well, it's less than 24 hours to rescue this, go in this fucking hellhole, find this guy in the middle of the cesspit, bring him out, you know, in 24 hours, you know, in 22 hours. We're talking about 24. In 22 hours, half of summer will be over. China, the Soviet Union will go home, you know. Anyway, but he meets Susan Hubley, who he was married to at the time, like Kurt Russell. He meets her in chock full of nuts. Crazies are rampant outside. They're hiding. He hasn't got much time to, you know, to kill. And you take me out with you, Snake. Why? I can think of lots of reasons. And he is. You can see he's warming to it. He's about to put the lips on it when the crazies come in. But even if they hadn't come in, he's wasting time. Like, when he could have, you know, got away quietly somewhere else, ditched her, and got back on the mission at hand. He hasn't got time to kill, you know, but he's got time to fucking, you know, because he's thinking, I can do this. I can give it 5 minutes. He just wouldn't do it. And there's loads of other little leisurely moments. Like when he sits down, he finds the crashed pod the president was in, which has landed perfectly upright, you know, hasn't landed upside down like that, you know. You see the computer simulation tracking Air Force One, that's the escape pod, and it lands nice and perfectly, not like in the sewer. It hasn't gone through the ground, landed in the fucking sewers, has it, and drowned the president, you know. It lands nicely upright, door opens, and out. Well, love to have seen how they got him out. Did they get him out, or did he get out and like wander around? Help me, I'm the president, you know, and bumps into the Duke of New York. Really, that's the one coincidence you really don't fucking want, isn't it? You know, I mean, the Blackberries arrived only shortly afterwards with Lee Van Cleef and all that. But anyway, he's lost his finger in the meantime, of course. But Plissken finds that again. Finds a little chair in the rubble and like sits in the little chair, flicks his hair back and just takes a nocturnal breather. You haven't got time for that, mate. You haven't got time. If that was me, I'd be fucking running everywhere. Jesus Christ. Have you seen the president? Where's the president? Anyone who hasn't got an answer, fucking shoot them, you know. Just fucking, where's the president? You know. You haven't got time to dick around, have you? Cheers, y'all. Cheers, Captain Malt, for sending the Guinness and some other things.
Now entering the demarcation area. No talking, no smoking. Follow the orange line
Jamie
to the
Lee.
processing area. The next scheduled departure to the prison is in 2 hours. You now have the option to terminate and be cremated on the premises.
What would you do?
If you elect this option, notify the duty sergeant in your processing area.
That wasn't the cat, was it? The cat's not sneaking around again. Oh dear God. What would you do? The option of to be cremated on the spot, you know, on the premises, or go into New York. You're gonna go into New York, aren't you? You're gonna think, well, I've got more chance of something positive happening if I go in. If I go and get roasted alive, you know, I've got no chance, have I? You know. But many would do that, wouldn't they? So what would you do? You've got life in a hellhole prison, or just end it right now. What would you do? All right, folks. Plenty there to think about. So I'll leave you to it then. I love this bit of music as well. When it comes to aircraft identification, like what is it? Identifying codename David 14. You know, I've forgotten what the fucking lines are now. Like, Air Force One. I forgot the fucking lines. Decode David 14. You know, Air Force One flashes up and they're going like. Oh God, I'm out of here, folks. For definite this time.